Welcome to Gabbing with Goody. I'm your chatter extraordinaire, the chatter that matters. I talk a lot. Mess with me. Like, subscribe, comment. I want to talk to y'all. Welcome to Season 7, Episode 4 of Growing Up Hip Hop, Tuck and Roll. We start the episode with Lil Twist and Shawm, TT's husband. They are on their way to hang out. Shawm advises Twist that he is going to get his hair like his. Now, when he first said this, because he does live or work in Jamaica for the most part, I thought he was trying to say that he was going to get his hair dreaded or get braids or something, and I was not on board for that. But instead of that, he's saying he wants to go get hair plugs for men or a hair transplant. So out the gate, he wants a hair transplant. Twist is going to support him by going with him down to the doctor's office to get the hair transplant. They talk about Twist's teeth. Twist got his teeth done in Colombia. A lot of people go to Colombia to get their teeth done. I don't know if that's what I will do. I have insurance, but that's neither here nor there. So, Shawm and Twist go down to the doctor's office. It is a black surgeon, so I think that is dope. Twist thought it was dope too, so he gave the doctor props, like, oh, a black doctor, that's what's up. The doctor asked Shawm where he wanted the hair plugs. Shawm gave an over-exaggerated idea of where he wanted them to land. The doctor got him right. Shawm's hairline is receding, but he's still a very good-looking man. He has noted that him spending this money on his cosmetic surgery is $10 a follicle. He'll need about 2,000 follicles, so it'll be about $20,000. Him paying for this procedure, he knows that TT's gonna want her version, her $20,000 gift to respond to that. I've seen people wondering how Shawm could afford what he wants and how TT lives her life. And the idea that people have is that this is the only thing TT and Shawm have going. Shawm's business, I believe, to be a cannabis-based business in Jamaica. And as we know, that is going to be very fruitful, if it's not already fruitful for him. And TT is a TV producer, so they do have coin that does not include the Growing Up for Hip Hop check. In our next scene, we see Vanessa and Tanice, sister-in-laws, link up to have a discussion, just to hang out. They are poolside, and Vanessa says out the gate, I didn't know we were going to be wearing bikinis. I'm not finna wear a bikini. She then reveals to Tanice that she's still feeling a way about her body. Tanice asked if she was about to have another child. I'm sure that didn't make her feel well or good about her body, but the reality is the Simmons family wants Vanessa to have another baby. But as an aside, Vanessa lets us know she's going to do Sonabella. I believe she does an advertisement for them, so maybe this is their commercial, or this is her plugging them on the show, but she's going to do a different version of like a cool scope lipo. And Tanice lets her know, I've had lipo in the past, and it's necessary for you to get your massages so that you could drain, and drainage is important. It all sounds painful for me personally, but I advocate for anyone who wants to do what's going to make them feel confident in their skin. Do that. Do whatever is going to make you feel good. Ultimately, Vanessa is torn because she wants to do it, but because she grew up in the public eye and her dad's a pastor, I'm sure she's conflicted because this feels like a very worldly thing to do. And she's used to doing things and kind of trying to be the perfect Simmons child. She needs to let that go in the same manner that Angela has let it go. We'll see where that lands. But Vanessa is not happy with her body. Again, third season in a row. Next up is my fave. Brianna has become one of my favorite dispositions on Growing Up Hip Hop. I think she's beautiful. I think she's talented. I think she's misunderstood. I think she's been through a lot, which has caused us to misunderstand her. But she is here. Apparently, she was doing a wellness event. And they asked her to sing. So she went up and she sang. even though it's her first performance that's live, and she's nervous. Sequoia comes to see her, and, after the performance, they get to talking, and Brianna, who knows Tiny, is shocked to learn that Tiny and Sequoia are still not on the same page as it relates to their fallout. She advises Sequoia to understand that Tiny is a grown woman, and Tiny has the right to make decisions for her grown ass coochie. Okay, yeah, that's fine. And Sequoia doesn't necessarily disagree. And again, the thing I've been saying over and over is that it's not what Tiny's doing, even though what Tiny's doing would be a problem for Sequoia, because your parents are always your parents and you are always their child. So yes, she would have this desire for her parents to be together, but it's more about why or how her mother went about it. Her mother went about it the wrong way. You can't tell me you're a grown-ass woman and hide from telling me your grown-ass business. Now, it's fair for you to say, I'm not going to go into details about my love life. However, you should know that I'm seeing Lazy. That would have been it. She could have cut every conversation down. But for Sequoia to be going through town and hearing the gossip of her mother dating Lazy when she has a relationship with both Lazy and clearly her mother is wrong. So when Brianna gives her this good advice, she's like, yeah, I hear you, I see you, but I don't want to hear any of that. And, they leave it there because Brianna knows what that energy is. They also get to talking about the fact that Sequoia is hosting a skate party and she's inviting everyone. She's inviting Cree as well as everyone else. And, Brianna's like, I'm fine with Cree coming. That's a big bitch, but whatever. I'm not quite sure what the sting is between Brianna and Cree for this season, but I do know last season Cree went on a couple of interviews and she was very specific at shading both Vanessa and Brianna. And even though she's saying her issue, because that's what our next scene is. Our next scene is Cree visiting Tanice and JoJo's home. Vanessa's there, so it's a little get together. It seems to me that Cree is trying to utilize the reel that Brianna did on IG to get people on her side against, well, not just people, the Simmons on her side against Brianna. What I don't think she understands is they've all been there with Brianna before. Brianna is someone they know and understand, and she's not going to win. JoJo actually tells her, this is what Brianna does. You're not going to win that battle with Brianna. You don't want to go there. Also, I'm not offended by what she said. When you take a look at what she said, she was answering questions that people on her IG Live were asking her. But Cree is still trying to use this to garner Simmons support against Brianna. What I do not like is this idea that Brianna is this messy person. She has been, but she's grown a lot. And I'm not quite sure I like the way they're talking about her. But whatever. It's whatever. Bottom line, Cree has it out for Brianna. Brianna doesn't really care that much about Cree. Because, Cree is just another person on the show that she's working on. So now we're down to Tiny's home, and Lazybone has come over with flowers to make her feel better about what has transpired between herself and Sequoia. They get to talking. They are really, really cute together. Both of them are attractive people. They're both age appropriate. There's nothing wrong with this relationship except the way they were clandestine for going on 2 years. That's whack. I don't care what anyone has to say. In any event, Tiny lets Lazy know that she did speak to Sequoia. It did not go well. And he's like, is it because I'm aware of who it is or because of how we did it? And she says it's a little bit of both, but more how we did it. And, it looks like he's about to go into I told you we should have spoken to her. And he hints at it. She gives him a look. And what I do appreciate about Lazy is in his grown man stance, he realizes this isn't the time for an I told you so. Again, they're really cute together. They sit down, they eat. He lets her know he's going to speak to Sequoia. He'll speak to her himself. And I think that's necessary. They should have both spoken to her. Let's reframe this. Let's say that you would bring your homegirl down to the studio and your homegirl starts dating your mentor and they don't tell you anything. The question you're going to have is, why didn't you tell me? And you're going to be looking at him like he has 10 heads. And you're going to be concerned for your business and the future of your business. Because if it goes left for them, nobody knows what's going to happen with the actual business. So, yeah, people are trying to say Sequoia is being childish, but she's not. We then get to TT and Shawm looking for a home in LA. Shawm works in Jamaica. With TT in New Jersey, it's an easier commute. It's a 6-hour plane ride tops. However, the West Coast brings a whole different level of travel to the situation. But TT wants to look into getting a home, and Shawm wants TT to have what TT wants to have. The home they're looking at is not very impressive, and it's $3 million. Hearing the price tag, TT decides to kind of take a step back and not really pursue this particular home. Still developing, but I think the best place for their family would be on the East Coast and just dipping into LA when they have to record. That's my stance on that. So we are at Sequoia's skating event, and first things first, she's always so cute. Second thing is she is flirting with Twist real bad. She flirting with Twist. She wants Twist bad. She really wants Twist. And he knows it. And she's flirting and he's flirting back. And he says to himself, I want her, but I don't know if I want her long term. It might be a weekend want. Which is disrespectful on one hand, but it's highly self-aware on the other hand. He's trying to be a better person. And he knows that he doesn't want what she may want. And he, as of right now, is choosing not to further engage. Plus, he's still hung up on Mia, who he cheated on. But taking a step back from that, people are online like, she's a hypocrite. Why is she flirting with a rapper? And she doesn't want her mom to deal with a rapper. As far as Sequoia knows, her mother has been with the same man for 20 years. And immediately after leaving that relationship, her mother has gotten into a relationship with a stone cold player, a rapper, a famous rapper, and a handsome rapper at that. She is well within her right to be concerned about her mother. Usually when people leave a long-term relationship, they at least need a little bit of time to figure out WTF. And we're acting like that's not the case just because Lazy is cute and just because Lazy and Tiny look cute together. We're not even going to talk about the fact that Lazy has a young child, right? So Lazy still has a connection out there and he's still married. Sequoia is well within her right to be concerned for her mother. With regard to hypocrisy, we will note that Sequoia might feel like she's fully capable of dealing with the F-boy nature of a rapper because she's been dealing with it. It doesn't make it right, but it doesn't make it like she shouldn't be concerned about her mom leaving a 20-year relationship and hopping into a relationship with Playboy. She should be concerned. As the event carries on, everyone shows. Tanice, JoJo, Cree, Bri, everyone shows, and I think that's a beautiful thing. Brianna, when Cree arrives, kind of goes and gets her skates from the area. And she's polite. She's cordial. And Tanice is like, you see, Cree, that was nice. We'll put a pin in that for a second. As they get to talking, Brianna lets them know what her relationship is like with her mother currently. And everyone is listening and empathetic. Cree wants to give advice. Cree notes that they were all children to public figures, and that, Tiny may want a different kind of relationship. And if Sequoia could look at the kind of man her dad was as a mate, she'd see that what Tiny is doing is in her best interest. Sequoia takes away that, Cree thinks her parents are similar, like they have similar parents. And people are like, well, she has a point. Let's remember this. Luke and Cree's mother don't fool with each other. Cree's mother has a whole different husband. Luke doesn't even know Cree. That is Cree's issue with Luke. They are not the same. Sequoia knows her dad. Sequoia's dad was with her mother. It may not have been good, but it was a relationship that they were in, that they just exited. So while Cree is giving sound advice, she might need to take a beat if she's going to compare her parents to Sequoia's parents. And again, the issue is Sequoia knows what it was for her mother in relationship with her father. She's concerned about her father because of his health, but she understands what her mother is going through. What she cannot understand is how the closest person to her can decide they're not going to share one of their biggest secrets. What she does not understand is how this person, her mother, someone who is the closest person to her, is someone she find out things about on the street. That is the issue. People are convoluting it with, she a grown-ass woman. There's a lot of grown-ass women who let their children be taken advantage of because they determined they were so grown they didn't need to speak to anybody about the actions they were taking. Again, bullshit. While I like the relationship for Tiny, I'm never going to be on board with the way this rolled out. Never. So Twist wants Brianna and Cree to have a discussion because Twist is at a place in his life where he just wants peace around him. He gets Brianna and Cree to have a discussion, and Brianna's like, yo, what's the issue? Cree's like, well, you were talking about me on IG. And Brianna's like, that's what I do. I talk about people on IG. The reality is we're on a reality show. That's what I do. Anybody could get it. Well, I didn't know. Well, now you know. Like, now you know. Do we have a real issue? They don't have a real issue. Right? However, in her, Brianna does not care about Cree. And in her confessional, Cree would like us to believe she doesn't care about Brianna, but there's something about Brianna that triggers her. And I'm thinking that something is what Sequoia has highlighted. The reality that Brianna is extremely talented and she's a hustler and she gets the job done. Okay? Finally, Lazy Bone pops in and Sequoia's like, who told you about this? She immediately looks over to Eric with his messy self and she's like, you did this? And he's like, I think y'all need to talk. So they get to the conversation, they get to talking, and Lazy lets her know that he cares a lot about her mother. He's known her mother for 2 decades. And he is not trying to be the kind of lazy he was back in the day. Sequoia lets him know it was whack the way they rolled it out, and she lets him know that she doesn't want it to affect the business and that maybe she might need to get a new mentor. He wants to continue mentoring her. He wants to continue seeing her mom. He wants her to see them as family. He does get to a weird flex, though, by telling her he cares about her dad and that he made children to her dad's music. That was such a weird flex. Sequoia seems at ease now that Lazy has spoken to her. And a lot of people are like, well, why is she okay with Lazy, but she's mad at her mom? Y'all are acting like her mom didn't come at her without saying, hey, I know I should have said something, but I didn't. And the reason I didn't is because I didn't want you to judge me. And it was a weird thing for me to be with someone new who was not your dad. That's all Tiny needs to do. Hold herself down and own her shit. Lazy speaking to Sequoia, that's some stand-up brother stuff. The way that Tiny came at it was like, little girl, I'm your mom, don't ask me any questions. That doesn't even work for actual children. That's where we leave the episode. Thanks for tuning in. Like, subscribe, share. Mess with your girl. This is my rollout. Mess with me though.